Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this third video where we address the answers given by Bart Ehrman in his interview with Ridvan a couple of weeks ago. In the first two videos, we addressed 5 answers that Bart Ehrman gave, and we saw that all of them, almost all of them, are in line with the Islamic belief. If you want to watch any of the previous videos, the links of the videos appear above. You can click on them and go and watch them and then come back to watch this video. Let's now go to this 6th question.
The problem is not only that that Islam doesn't accept the Gospels and the New Testament that we have. The idea is also not only that there was a book called the Gospel and that it was lost or corrupted, but also that basically the immediate followers of Jesus, that the early Christians were basically Muslims, meaning they didn't hold any of these heretical Christian ideas, and they were completely in alignment with the Islamic religion and the Islamic way of thinking, of simply regarding him as a prophet and worshiping Allah or God alone, and so on. What could you say about that?
So I would say that there are some elements of truth in that historically, and some things I think I would consider to be problems. But on the basic level, the idea that the earliest followers of Jesus thought that he was a human and that he worshipped only one God, and they also worshipped only one God. I would say that that's true. That is true. I think that these earliest Christians, though, right after his death, believed that God had raised him from the dead and taken him up to heaven. And in the ancient views, whether it's Greek or Roman or Christian or Jewish, these ancient views, if somebody's taken up to heaven, they're living with God. They are made immortal, so they don't die again, unlike everyone else who dies again. An immortal is just another name for gods in ancient Greek. Jesus was made immortal, and I think that according to his followers, and so they started worshiping him. They didn't worship him as the one only God, but he was a being who deserved worship, and so they considered him to be the Lord whom they worshipped. And I think that happened early on. But they understood that during his life he was a human. Mm-hmm. They would not have agreed with most of the tenets of Islam that differ from Christianity, in my judgment. That I don't think is right historically.
But so the deification or turning Jesus into a god would then have begun due to the crucifixion and due to stories about the crucifixion within a lifetime of the crucifixion, basically.
Yeah, but I would say at the resurrection. I would say that what happened is,
This is very interesting. Bart Ehrman here is saying that Jesus taught his followers to believe in one God, and his followers also believed and worshipped one God. And this is completely in line with the Islamic belief about Jesus and his early followers. Then Bart Ehrman went on to say that the early followers of Jesus, right after his death, started to believe that he is divine in some sense. Now, here Bart Ehrman did not specify how many of Jesus' followers did believe that he was divine. He didn't say that all of them. And we can read in one of his books that he acknowledges the idea that he cannot know what every disciple of Jesus believed about Jesus. So here Bart Ehrman is giving an idea about how the belief in Jesus developed over time. Were there some followers of Jesus who believed that he was divine? Maybe. Does that falsify Islam? Not at all. The Quran is referring to Jesus' disciples who believed in one God, who believed in him as a prophet of God. If there are some of his early followers who changed their beliefs later based on the crucifixion or based on the alleged resurrection, then these are excluded from the disciples that the Quran mentioned. So this answer of Bart Ehrman again agrees with the Islamic belief that Jesus and his early followers were Muslims. There's something else I want to talk about, which Ridvan and his fanboys used to show that Bart Ehrman disagreed with the Islamic belief. Let's listen.
They would not have agreed with most of the tenets of Islam that differ from Christianity.
This is absolutely absurd. I mean, no Muslim said that Jesus and his early followers were Muslims in the sense that they pray 5 times, or that they go to Hajj and do Umrah, or that they fast the month of Ramadan 30 days. No Muslim ever made that claim. The claim was that they believed in one God. I don't blame Bart Ehrman for clarifying this point, because he has to make it clear what exactly he means when he said that this is right. He was talking about the belief in one God. If Muslims are saying that, Muslims in the sense that they believe in one God, then that's right. But if they say that they were as Muslims as we are today, then that's false. Anyway, we're done with this question, and so far none of his questions go against the Islamic belief. Let's go to the next question.
What about the idea of the Son of God? Did they understand him to be the Son of God, not only in the sense of a great guy, but also in in a spiritual, religious way, the way Christians later understood him? Was that something that was there from the beginning?
I think it was there from the beginning, but they meant something different by it. In Jewish circles, Son of God is used in the Old Testament, in the Hebrew Bible. Son of God is used for various beings. It can be used for angels, for example, but it can also be used for humans. The king of Israel was known as the Son of God. And the logic of it was that God has a kind of a representative on earth through whom he channels his will. And this person would be a human, could be a human, but it was the one who was in a particularly close relationship with God, through whom God mediated his will. And so Jesus would have been seen as the Son of God in that sense. And he might have even talked about himself as the Son of God in that sense. Later, that came to mean that in some sense he himself was divine, that he was God. And that's the meaning that carried on later. But early on, I don't think they meant it that way.
I think there is nothing much to say about this answer. Here Bart Ehrman is saying that Jesus was known as the Son of God in a human sense. Nothing divine about it at all. And that again doesn't go against the Islamic belief, because the Islamic belief is that Christian calling Jesus as the Son of God in a divine sense is false. So far, 7 questions, none of them go against the Islamic belief. Let's go to the next one.
Is there any different gospel that is, in your opinion, or according to your findings, more authentic than the recognized gospels that we have within the New Testament?
No, I don't think so. I think that the 4 we have are the oldest ones that we have. There were some that had been written earlier that we don't have anymore, but these 4 are the 4 oldest. And the first 3 in particular, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, have a good deal of historical material in them. John also has some, but it's a very different kind of gospel. The later gospels tend to be, for one thing, they're much later, and they're more highly legendary. So I don't think that there are any other gospels that give us much historical information that's not already in the New Testament.
The 8th question was, is there any gospel that is more authentic than the gospels that we have? And Dr. Bart Ehrman's response was, no, the ones that we have are the oldest one. Then he said that there were gospels that were written earlier, but we don't have them anymore.
We have. There were some that had been written earlier that we don't have anymore.
In other words, the gospels that we have now are the most authentic because they are the oldest that we have. There were some other early gospels, but we don't have them. Therefore, we cannot judge if they were more authentic than the gospels that we have now. How is that answer goes against the Islamic belief? In fact, Muslims believe that these gospels are not the most authentic ones. These are the corrupted ones. And Bart Ehrman acknowledges the fact that there were other gospels, other early gospels, but they were lost. So he wouldn't be able to tell you if those lost gospels were more authentic than the ones that we have or not, because they are not there. He can't read their content. It's common sense, Ridwan. If gospels were lost, how would Bart Ehrman be able to tell you that these lost gospels are more or less authentic than the ones that we have if he had no access to them? So again, this answer does not go against Muslim beliefs. No Muslim believes that the authentic gospel of Jesus exists today. So when Bart Ehrman answers that the gospels that we have now are the most authentic and are the oldest, and then he says there were some that were written earlier but we don't have anymore, this is completely in line with the Islamic belief. So far, all of Bart Ehrman's answer doesn't go against the Islamic belief at all. We'll stop here and we'll continue looking at the other answers that Bart Ehrman gave and see if they falsify Islam, as Ridwan and his followers are claiming. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching and for your support. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.